Anyway, I have a few of them up on YouTube. You go on and just do the warm-up of the piece, like such a good way to start the day. I notice when I do it with my clients first thing in the morning, when I do the mobility pieces at the beginning, I'm like, oh, I feel like a new person. So, bear in mind that we've improved the movement quality or the range of your muscles to lengthen and shorten in that warm-up. Now we're going to exercise them. So our strength work, the first piece we're going to do today is called an arch hold. One thing I want you to take note of when we're doing our arch hold on the floor, we're going to be lying on the ground, but we want to make sure that we're not in what's called an anterior tilt. So if you look at my hips here, my body is completely out of alignment, right? My rib cage is jutting forward. If I want to tuck that up, or if I want to tidy that up and get more centered to the floor, I'm going to pull my hips underneath my rib cage and my rib cage over on top. See the difference of my hips? So let's try that together. It's a bit like the cat panel that we practiced. So this was the rounding of the back, and this was the arching of the back. So we want to come in, go into that arch of the back, come all the way through into that rounding of the back, tuck the tailbone, and then find neutral. Lovely. That's the position we want when we go to do our arch hold. So we'll do it on the floor. Line of your belly here. Say your hands are by your side. Do the arch of the back, lift the hips, do the tuck of the back, round the hips as much as you can, then find neutral, just relax, just bounce back into it. From there, take a big breath into your belly, squeeze the legs together, and see if you can lift your upper body up off the floor. Let's hold this for 15 seconds. So keep that chest up. We want to make sure we're not letting our back sag into the floor. We're lifting our rib cage away and pushing our belly out into the ground. We got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. We'll show you a couple of variations in order to make that a little bit more challenging. I'm sure it's pretty hard. If you get that tough position, it can feel quite intense. And that's what we're looking for. 15 seconds of like, oh God, that's really, really tough. So pick a variation that allows for you to feel that 80% effort. Right, the next piece is our downward dog push-up. This will be the last week now that we do it. We're going to go starting. We want to do higher volume of reps today. So we've been doing about 5 reps last week. Today we're looking at something like 8. So if you need to start on your knees, start with your hands behind you. We're going to drive our head in front of our fingertips. So here, this would be that starting position. Drive it up. Drive the shoulders back over the wrist. We want to push through the hand so that we're not just sitting back and dropping our hips. Let's all together go for 8 and naturally come up into a higher position if you want to straight away to remember what we're doing, or stick with this type of variation and get those higher volume of reps in. You might be able to do 5 from this position. I want you to do 8 from here today. Let's bring the head down in front. Make sure you can see those fingers and press up. As you press up, I'm pushing through the floor. Push the floor away from you. That's 2. We're going for 8 together. 3. If you're only getting as close to like 4 reps and then you start to get really, really tired, just do the lowering, get up whatever way you need to, and then do another rep. So we really want to push this one today, get really strong in this position. We got 3 more here. Push through the floor, keep those shoulders raised together. 2, last 1. And 1. Lovely. That's the first progression. We'll go to the next progression after. The next one is going to be a row with a dumbbell or a kettlebell if you have one. If you don't, do not worry. We can use a couch to make this guy a little bit less challenging. Doing it from a plank position is fairly tough. So let's do this one all together. We'll do both variations. We're going to come into a plank position. We've done them before. We want to make sure that we're not arching our lower back or rounding our lower back. So find that neutral position. We're going to pull back, straighten out, reach up and behind. That's 1 rep. We'll do 5, pull back, reach out, reach underneath. When I'm making sure when I reach underneath, I'm not rounding my shoulders forward, keep your chest up. Let's go for 5 per side. Back, out, reach, back, out, reach, back, out, reach, back, out, reach. Same thing on the other side. Lift the chest before you go, back, out, reach. Try not to let that shoulder jump up towards the ear. 3 to go. Back, out, reach. Keeping that rib cage fairly stable. Last 1. Back, out, reach. Same thing on the mat. Way harder, right? Because your center of gravity is lower. We're closer to the floor. It's going to be a little bit tougher to maintain that position. Let's do 3 together. 3 on one side, 3 on the other. Plank position first. Back, reach. Keep that rib cage stable. Reach. 2 more. Back. Sorry, last one and reach. Just do the other side, like you said, free. Plank position, find that neutral hips. We're not arching, we're not tucking, we're just in a normal position. We're going to go back, out, reach, 1, back, out, reach, 2, back, out, reach, 3. Whew, tough one, right? That's our last exercise. If you have a dumbbell or a kettlebell, I would like you to do your 1 arm row. 1 leg out in front, 1 leg behind. Lift your chest. Keep that principle of keeping the rib cage fairly stable. And we'll go for 8 each side. Make sure that we're not letting our back collapse. Find the shoulder girdle. Find the rib cage. Pop them on top of each other. Try to draw a line from your heel through your knee, through your hip, through your belly, through your shoulder, through your ear. It would be very straight. If we're like this, the line would go really jagged. And that's a little bit inefficient. Not bad, but it's probably not the way you want to be when you're doing strength training. Our last exercise is going to be like an L-sit variation. So in gymnastics, they have things called parallettes. I see people where they're pointing their toes and lifting their hips off the floor. We want to do some variation of that, but it's a very complicated and advanced, not complicated, it's very advanced movement. So how do we break it down so we can progress and learn it over time? Let me show you. We're going to start with our legs on the floor, and I want you to put your hands on the floor, push through the floor. Imagine you're trying to lift your bum off the ground. You might even get a little lift. This is the first progression. I want us to hold it together for 10 seconds. Doesn't matter if your hips lift or not, it's the effort of pushing through the floor which is going to get you stronger. So take a big breath in and push through the floor. 10, 9, see can you lift your hips? 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo. Much harder than it looks. Very good for if shoulders, if you feel like your shoulders are up around your ears, it helps depress them or drop your shoulders away from your ears. So that's 1 set done. We're going to do 3 more. I'm going to show you ways to make it just a little bit harder. So we're into our arch hold, lying on your belly. Remember that trick with the neutral pelvis? So stick the bum up, totally around the lower back, then find normal. From here, this time, feet together. See, can we bring our hands up over our head and lift? If that's good, we'll lift our feet off the floor, but I'm making sure I'm not losing that connect in my midline. 15 seconds. Reach through the shoulders, open the front of the rib cage, squeeze the butt muscles. 5, 4, 3, 2, oh, loads of work there. That's 1. We're into our downward dog push-ups now. Remember, we have these for 8. So because we're breaking down the movements, I don't want you to go max effort on these. I want you to make them slightly easy. If you feel like you could do 20 of these guys with no problem, come up onto your downward dog position on your hands and knees. We're going to bring our head front and then push through. That's 1. We're looking to go for 8 reps. Let's go together in 3, 2, 1. Head in front, push through. Make sure you can see your hands in the bottom. 4. Should be able to get 8 reps without too much effort. If you get to 4 and you're in this up dog position, just come down, finish your reps here. Thinking top of the head to the floor. And very nice, guys. We're into our row or our plank row. So our back out reach. 5, whichever variation you can do, or grab your dumbbell, 1 arm row. If you have a quite light dumbbell, do 8 here in your own time while I'm talking. Do something very, very light, but more of a challenge. You need more of a challenge because the weight you're not really feeling like it's causing a lot of effort. Come into a plank position on the bench. And this called an unsupported row. This will make it harder. Go for 8 per side, 8 the other side. You guys on your planks, you guys are doing your 5 per side. Come up onto a bench, it's very, very tough. We're going to make it harder with the dumbbell. Come up onto a bench and hold that 3-point position. So, the reason why we're doing it on the bench, could do it in a plank position, but there's no space for the dumbbell, so we have to elevate our hands a little bit. Mad concept, could put your hands here and your feet on another bench, and that would make it a gazillion times harder. So, good way of working, making the intensity, the effort of each piece harder, but without excuse me, without access to loads of different kind of dumbbells, because who in these days and ages have those? So our next exercise is our plank L sit. Stick with this one where you're pushing through the floor and lifting away from the floor. Take the level of effort up, make it a little bit harder by lifting and pointing that toe. So I want you to think about pulling your pelvic floor up into you as you lift that toe. We're going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, swap sides, 5, 4, 3, 2, and very nice. Grab some water if you want. We're back into our arch hold. We got 2 more sets here. Let's make it a little bit tougher. So one of the keys to when you start to lift your arms up and your legs straight, we want to make sure that we're reaching through the whole time. So not like this, I'm just arching my back. It's a reach. Imagine I have a string on your fingertips and your toes, and I'm pulling. Now, that doesn't mean we let go of the spine or let go of the abs. Everything is under tension. So imagine the difference between pulling a line of string, which just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling, is that like your body being like that long string, versus being an elastic band. The tension when you pull the elastic band and all the muscles working together. So it feels like you're reaching, but it also feels like you're pulling back from the muscles in your core and your belly. I know, mad, right? That's what happens when you see gymnasts on the uneven bars or doing any of those cool kind of tricks. It's generally that they're swinging, but they're pushing down on the bar, then they're pulling back, all at the same time. So let's try this in our arch position, lying on your belly. And it's these types of movements that initially you might, when you're doing them, be like, oh, I've done pull-ups, like this isn't the same intensity as pull-up. You do pull-ups, you work hard enough here to keep that tension, create tension yourself in your body. It is the same transfer of strength, just getting different or lots more muscles to switch off. So lying on your back. This time do the arch, the rounding, and then find neutral. Squeeze the legs, reach through the fingertips, and lift. We've got 15 seconds here. I want you to see how long you can get. Squeeze your quads, squeeze your calves, point your toes, lift your chest, squeeze your bum, squeeze your middle back, shoulders away from the ears. 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. And if you're doing that with that really, really huge amount of tension, you don't want to do more than 10 or 15 seconds. Really hard to talk and do that at the same time, believe it or not. So let's go into our downward dog push-ups. We have 8 reps. Pick a variation which allows you to get your 8 reps, whether that's just a negative or a combination of from your downward dog or from the floor. Let's go together. Key here is head out in front of the fingertips. Starting up on the downward dog or down on the knees. Let's go together. Drive that chest through in towards the floor. We got 8 to go. Try a few from your feet if you haven't already. Last 2. Oh, nice work, guys. Very tough. You know when something's real tough if it goes quiet. Let's come on into our plank row. Either variation, if you want to make it harder. You could also add on a few reps, or better yet, add in a pause at the top. So watch me on the dumbbell. 1, 2, and then keep the back of the neck long. Let's go together. We have our 5 on the row, plank straighten, or 8 with the dumbbell. Swap sides there, guys. Another great pulling and pushing set of exercises will be like a push-up or a bench press and a pull-up, some variation of a pull-up. So if you're in the gym yourself, you go to the gym on the days that you're not doing these sections, maybe you do, maybe you don't. A good thing to, which will complement these workouts very well. So we're doing a push overhead or vertically. We're doing a pull horizontally, a vertical pull like a pull-up, or a horizontal press like a push-up or a bench press would work really, really well. If you have not got pull-ups and you're like, how am I going to get the pull-up? Like, you have to get up to get up. Use bands, loop them around the band, put a loop under your feet that gives you a little bit of resistance, or get a box, jump your chin over, and then control on the way down. All of that will build strength in those basic but challenging movements. This is a good standard to have one of each. Let's go into that L-sit position. Point your toes. You're going to push up through the floor first. So I want you to imagine like you're pulling your rib cage up into your shoulder girdle. After you've done this one, see can you lift that toe. Let's go for 15 seconds. A little bit longer this time. Keep lifting the hips off. Keep squeezing the legs. Imagine you're going to lift both feet off the floor. Bend your knees. Push up. Give it a go. Oh. Well done. You might need, like, if you have a set of dumbbells, they can also work in that position. They give you a little bit of height off the floor. So if I'm here and I want to do that L-sit position, just having that extra inch allows me to lift my legs at the same time. A couple of heavy-duty books will do the same job, like coding for dummies. You guys are teching, right? So use that little bit of height, even a couple of pillows, to give you that lifting of the hips off the floor. Grab some water. We're going to do one more set of that through, and then we have the neck time. You're pretty good on time. Okay, so lying on your back. Let's do that arch position now. Another thing to do here, you could grab a dumbbell if it's light, a couple of cans of beans and make it harder to get that overhead position. So you're going to find your belly first. Grab like a heavy book. Heavy book would do this perfectly. Tuck the tailbone or arch the back, and then tuck, lie neutral, squeeze the legs together. And then we're going to lift our chest off the floor. So be holding here with our heavy book. That's easy. Let's see, can we reach it up and overhead? Let's go for 5 here. 4, 3, 1. Woo. And relax, or just hold. Over the middle. Downward dog push-ups, last round. I want you to think to yourself where you were in the first time you did these. So many moons ago. Are they getting stronger? Do you feel like you're progressing with them? Are you able to maybe do 1 rep from your feet, whereas before you weren't? Are you able to control it down to 4 better? Usual question you've got to ask yourself, see the progress, give yourself the wins. Come up into that downward dog position or stay on the knees, and let's go for 8. Remember, head coming in front of the hands, always. 8 in total. Break our row. 1 arm for supported, unsupported. Let's do our 8 reps per side. So pinch those shoulder blades down and away. Keep that back straight. Do a little pause at the top if you need to. Keep rounding that rib cage forward over that front knee. Lovely. 5, 4, 3, 2, and same thing on the other side. 8 reps in total. Set that rib cage first. Let's go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Last press. Come onto the hands. Use your dumbbells, or if you have 2 chairs, put your hands on 2 chairs. Start in, say, this position. Hands down on both chairs. See, can you lift your foot and then the other, and then 2 together. Let's do 10 seconds, or if it doesn't feel, let's feel like you do 15, let's do 50. Going in 3, push through the dumbbells, push through the chair, 2, 1, lift the feet off. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done, guys. Let's take the dumbbells out of the way. We're not going to be using them. If you were, we're doing all of those core movements now. Grab a little bit of water. We'll do the first set together. I've written it out here. I hope you guys can see. Down in the bottom corner. Is it kind of legible? Maybe. So I'm going to go through it anyway, but just if you're curious as to what's coming up. Tabatha is a workout that we use in CrossFit as a way of building volume on different exercises. You can do it with anything. You can say, I'm going to do Tabatha of air squats. And that would mean you're going to do 8 rounds of 20 seconds of work and 10 seconds of a break. So essentially it's about 4 minutes long. I think it's a great structure for workouts. You could do it with anything. The only thing I would say is if you were to do it with just one movement, say if you did air squats, in those 20 seconds you might be able to get like 20 reps. So then 8 by 20 is 160 reps. That's a lot of reps in one day. So if you're not used to doing 160 reps in one session, your legs could be fairly sore the next day. So it's great for getting volume and intensity, but you have to think, is that appropriate for you on that day? Do you actually need to do that many reps of one movement? I don't know. Personally, I like to use the structure, the 20 seconds on, the 10 seconds off, so that we can get a bit of, or use it with variety of exercise. So we get the heart rate up, but we also don't overload one certain exercise too much. Okay, so starting on the floor, we have the mountain climber. We're going to start in a plank position, shoulders over the wrists. You want to make this one really, really tough. It's going to matter from how far, English don't work no more. The difference is going to be where you have your shoulders. So if my shoulders over my wrist here, it'll be tough. Shoulder forward over the wrist, tougher. Even more excruciatingly hard. Depending on where you're at, we want this to feel like, especially in the first round, we want this to feel like a 6 or 7 out of 10. We can make it harder as we go through, or maybe just the pure sense of doing the exercise over and over is the challenge. So let's try that mountain climber to start. I'm going to use this clock and do it as our first round. So let's put it so you can hear the beat yourselves in case you can't see me. We're going to go start off with the first exercise and roll into the next one, and that'll be the first set. So the 10-second break in between, it's not that long. So it's kind of like a chance to take a bit of a breath, and then we're back in. So let's start in that plank position. Watch me for the first round if you want to, or join in by what I'm saying. So hands over the shoulders, plank position. We're going to go for slow, controlled mountain climber. Lean forward, make it harder. Let's go for 1, 2. I'm thinking opposite knee, opposite elbow. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 10 seconds to go, so maybe 16 reps. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Our next exercise, hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. We're going to lift our knees off. We're going to walk, trying to keep our back very steady. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Knees off. Small steps forward. Imagine you've got a tray of Prosecco glasses on your back. You run out of space, reverse it. If you've got very little space forward and back, go to the side. We have 6 seconds, and we'll take a break. And we're lying on our back. 3, 2, 1. Hollow position. Lower back stays flat to the floor in this exercise. Pull the belly button into the spine. Bring the knees over the hips and together. We're going to crunch up. Think about getting your nose into your knees. Let's hold it for 20 seconds. This is the first progression. I'll show you something a little bit harder, but let's stay with this easier progression for the time being. It's not really easier, it's just, God, it's difficult in a different way, right? Hands to the ceiling, shoulders away from the ears. 2 and 1, and then we're coming onto our elbows, and we're lifting our hips off the floor, or onto our hands, if you can get your hips a little higher. 3, 2, 1, let's go for a lift. 20 seconds. So this is a slightly easier piece of the 3. The other ones are going to get the heart rate up a little higher. This is like our active recovery. So instead of just hanging out doing nothing, we can hang here and get some extra benefit or endurance training for the muscles in our back and our bum and the backs of our legs. That's time. That's 1 round done. We're back in for our mountain climbers. We're going to do 7 more. It keeps going. 5 seconds. Make it more challenging if you want to. Plank position, lean forward a little bit more. Let's go for 1, 2, 3. Across the body, 4. If you're not touching the elbow, I really want you to work to try and touch the elbow. Slow and controlled here. I'm on 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 16. Take the break. We're back into that bear crawl. Hands under the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Pretend you've got that tray of Prosecco glasses on your back. Lift the knees off, and let's go for our walks. Imagine every drop of spilled Prosecco is a tear cried. So, moving very, very still. The hips are going to want to move around. It's your job to stop them from doing that. 5 seconds. Try it sideways. Work it back. Hollow position. So this might be tough enough for you. If it is, fantastic. Leave it at this. I want you to lift, press that lower back into the floor, and then crunch nose to the knees. If that's easy, either straighten one leg, straighten the other, opposite arm goes up and overhead, and swap it around on the other 10 seconds.
Good. Keep that nose reaching for the knees. Swap if you haven't already. Or just hold that opposite position.
Oh, the abs. So, if you want to get your heart rate up a little bit more, instead of the forward plank, we're going to go for lateral jumps for 20 seconds. You can do this for one round, and then for the next round, you do that face-up plank. So, pick a spot on the floor. I'm using my mat, so you can jump over and back. Just to get the heart rate up higher, burn a little bit more in the workout. 3 seconds. Now we're back to our plank position, round 3. Start with the hands underneath the shoulders. This time I want you to go same knee, same elbow. Slow and controlled. Same knee, same elbow. 2, 3, 4. Crunch the chest. Crunch the abs. Hold them in tight. Looking for about 16 reps because that's what we got in the first round. Counting reps is a really good idea because it keeps you with the incentive when you get tired to work a little harder. So instead of being like, oh, I don't care, you're like, I got 10, I want to get 10 more. Hands into the shoulders, knees lifted. Let's go for that bear crawl. This guy here, if you're really working on not moving your hips and your back, it's very, very challenging. And it gets the heart rate up a ton. Because it's preventing how you can breathe. Lovely. Couple to the side. Try just lifting up the hand off the foot. Nice work, guys. Take a break. Hollow rock. Let's try it if that feels fine. First progression is here. Second progression is opposite arm, opposite leg. Let's hold it for 20 seconds. We're gone. If you want to, you can bring your hands back down, straighten both legs. You want to make sure you're not lifting that back off the floor. We're going to go for a little rock. You got 10 seconds. Squeeze your quads, point your toes. Squeeze your calves. 3, 2, and 1. Very nice. So back into that elbow plank. If you want to, maybe you want to get the heart rate up a little bit more. Let's go for a single leg hop forward this time. We're going for 1, jump back on the other. 2, jump up, jump back on the other. It's a little bit tougher, right? Jump back on the other. And let's go for, see if we get one more. Other guys, we're getting there. So, 7 seconds. This time, I want you guys to go faster. Imagine you're running. As fast as you can on the mountain climbers. 20 seconds. Stay on the toes. This is going to drive that heart rate up a little bit higher. Keep the shoulders forward over the wrists, make it harder. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Next exercise. Instead of or we'll do our bear crawl last time, we're going to move a little bit faster. So we're going to get the heart rate up a little bit higher here. Stay at the same pace if you want to. The lower back isn't moving. Over and back. See, can you take bigger steps without letting that back change? Let's go in circles now. We're over halfway. Keep the shoulders over the wrists. Reverse the direction. 3 seconds. Woo. Harder than it looks. So in this hollow rock, do a couple of variations for yourself now. Knees in, crunching up. You can do one leg, one arm. You can stay in this position, reach your nose for your knees. Or we're going for hollow rock. Bring the hands overhead, make it harder. This will really get the heart rate up. I want you to think about reaching to the left. We have 5 seconds left. If your back starts to break down, you start to arch, reverse, or regress. Come back, bring the knees into the chest. Chest. We're going for a lateral hops now. Or if that's getting the heart rate up too much, face up plank. Let's see how many reps we can get. You count your reps. You want to go faster, go for a rebound. 10 seconds. Make sure you got a decent distance to jump. 5, 3, 1. Lovely, well done, guys. You can grab a little bit of water if you want. You got 10 seconds. We're back into the mountain climber. Whichever progression you want. You pick opposite elbow, opposite knee. We're off or running. 20 seconds. The running is going to make it harder if that's what you want to do today. 10 seconds. roll. Let's switch it up. Crab walk. Start your bump. In 3 seconds, you're gonna lift your hips up off the floor. Lift the hips up high. Take a walk to the side. This is tough, so really watch those hips. Lift that chest. Work harder for that flattened position. Let's reverse direction. Keep lifting from the chest, lifting from the ribs. Woo. Hollow position. Watch me if this starts to happen. This starts to arch. Reduce, regress. Bring the knees in. You're not gaining anything by being in that extended position. So hold it here. Pull the knee into the nose or the nose into the knee. See, can you go for one leg, one arm, or opposite leg, opposite arm, where then we have our hollow rocks. Come on. Well done, guys. Let's go for a single leg hops. This time, see how far you can go on one leg. Start off on one, see how far you can go. Woo. Let's see if we do the same thing on the other side. You can just turn it around if you want to. Just one leg though here. So build strength, not single leg jump. 5 seconds, see if we get 2 more. Lovely, guys. Let's roll in, mountain climbers. Whichever variation. Maybe you want to work harder. Let's do that running one. 3, 2, 1. Now we're off. See how many reps you can get. Keep the toes off the floor. 10 seconds to go. 3, 2, and 1. We're into our crab walk now. Starting the hands and the knees. Hands and the hips. Lift the hips up off. This time, let's go forward and back. See how far you can get. And same thing on the way back. Imagine you have that glass of Prosecco in the middle of your chest. You don't want it to drop. Lovely. Let's go down on the hollow position a little bit. Start to get a little bit harder. Bring it back for this round now. Make it a little bit easier. Nose into the knees. See how close. Can you get your knee or your nose as close to your knees as you could? Bring the toes up a little bit higher. The shin is in line with the heels. You can never do too much of the basics. Halfway. We got 3, 2, 1. Lovely, guys. Face up plank or hops, whichever one you prefer. So we're nearly finishing up now. Let's not make it really hard if we don't need to. Maybe this is your only second workout this week. You're only doing 2. Make it a little bit harder. Halfway. Keep them up, keep them up. And relax. Nice breath. If I'm not wrong, we have 2 more rounds. Let's push it these last 2 rounds. Make it a little bit harder. Feet in the bench. You want to make it tougher. 20 seconds. Taking your time or the amount of reps that you got in the last set. Now we're into our crab walk. Hips up. And we're going to go as fast as we can, or just lifting the hands and the feet in the same spot. Let's go together. Lifting, or how fast can you walk forward or sideways and back. Come on, let's move it fast now. Let's increase that intensity for that last round. 5 seconds. Try side to side if you don't have any space. Hollow rock position. Don't pick that tough piece that makes you arch your back. Challenging piece, you can go one arm, one leg, and go for the rock. Make sure you're swapping sides. Or both hands, both feet. Have 8 seconds. Hold the net over, press it if you need to. Don't drop off. Woo. Lovely, guys. Let's go for a hop. So broad jumps this time. See how far you can jump. Reverse the same thing again. Let's go. 10 seconds. Double your reps. Last one. Last time now. Next time. Let's take the hardest variation that you can maintain. Last one. 2 minutes left. Let's go for it. See if you get over 30 here. Five seconds or 3 seconds. Woo. Okay. Scrub the deck. Watch me. Lift the hands, lift the feet as fast as possible. Slowly. Go together. Make it hard. As fast as you can. Up and hand up the foot like you're running. Here we go in 10 seconds. Lift the feet. Keep the hips. Keep it. 2, 1. Oh, God. Hollow position. Let's go for that hollow rock. Last 20 here on these hollows. Just crunch it up. Keep that back flat. Point the toes. Squeeze the hips. Bring it down, your breast if you need to. Last round. Let's do those broad jumps again. Last 20 seconds of work here, guys. 3, 2, 1. See if you can hit the same amount that you hit the last time. Maybe one more. Five seconds. Woo. Yay. Well done, guys. What a workout. 8 rounds. That's 16 full minutes. Let me pause that clock. Oh, let the heart rate come down. Let me know in the chat where the intensity was at for that. I don't know about the first few rounds. Definitely the last round's getting up there, right? So it's nice to build a piece like that over time and not allow for it to feel like an 80% effort for the full 16 minutes. Realistically, yes, nice thing. Realistically, you want it to feel really tough if that's what you're going for in the latter half of the workout. Nice, Andrew. First couple of minutes, nice, Rebecca. Couple of minutes, it should be feeling a bit like a warm-up. So I do that with the exercise variations. So in the hollow position, keeping the knees tucked, and then gradually progressing it. When we go to do some workouts next week, it'll be less so building and more so like, okay, well, if we're going to do it and it's going to be intense straight away, this is how it's going to feel. Which you can choose to do or not to do. I'll show you some variations. But it's always good to do the harder workouts from time to time because it gives you a perception of this is what a hard workout is. So especially if I have clients coming in and they're like, that was a hard workout every single session. I'm like, well, either we need to pull it right back and give you something that's really, really easy, or I need to give you a workout where you feel like that was like a 10 out of 10. So when we go to do the pieces that are a little bit more moderately intense, like the 2 sessions this week, you're like, oh, yeah, no, that's not a 10 out of 10. And you're not giving yourself this false perception of you having done this really intense workout, when realistically it might not have actually been that intense. So let's come onto the floor and do some meditation, lying on your back, the nice bit, right? And we're gonna start to tune in with our breath. So you can pop a cushion underneath your lower back and your head if you need to. Or you can pop your feet up on top of a bench. That's also a really nice one. So start to pay attention now, lying on your back, to what's happening with the breath. Okay. Not trying to force it to do anything specific. Let it do its own thing. So if I have my feet on a bench, sometimes this is a lot nicer for the lower back. Just allows it to switch off. And now start to close the eyes, hands towards the ceiling. I'm going to get you to lift your shoulder blades to your ears, away from your ears, and down towards your hips. And now reach one leg really long if you're lying down flat, or up towards the ceiling if you're lying on your feet on the bench. And then the other. Reach it up, lift it up, and then relax. And now start to pay attention to the breath. Start to count your breathing. See how long is the inhale, how long is the exhale. Into the nose, out to the mouth. Into the nose, out to the mouth. Let's start to count now. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in for 1, 2, 3. Breathing out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In for 1, 2, 3. Out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In for 1, 2, 3. Out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In for 1, 2, 3. Out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In for 1, 2, 3. Extra second. 4. Out for 6, 5, 4, 2, 1. In for 4, 3, 2, 1. Out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Out for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In for 5, 3, 2, 1. Out for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In for 5, 4, 2, 1. Out for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A little longer now. 6, 5. Breathing in. 4, 3, 2, 1. Out for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Out for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Out for 10, 9, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In for 7, 6, 5. Last one. 4, 3, 2, 1. Out for 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then relax. Let your breath do whatever it wants to do. You got 60 seconds here. Allow your mind to wander if it wants to. And we're going to start to bring our attention back into our body. Let's start around the feet, through the toes, front of the foot, bottom of the heel, through the ankle, through that shin and calf, into the knee. And then around that knee, back of the leg, front of the thigh, don't forget the sides, coming up, down into the hips. Think about the butt cheeks, think about the pelvic floor, think about the front of the pelvis. Think about the hip bones around the sides of the hips. Around that lower back, think all those bony bits around your spine, and then all the bits of muscle out and around it. Into your belly, where your belly button is, around the back of the belly button. All the organs in there, into around the back of the spine, coming up around the back of the rib cage, and into the front of the ribs, right down around where your lungs are, in up and through the lungs, into the sternum, up around the chest, and around the armpits, where the nipple is, all that superficial skin and things like that, and then deeper the organs, the liver, coming up around the neck and the chest, underneath the collarbone, out to the shoulders, around the backs of the shoulder blades, underneath the shoulder blades, in between the shoulder blades, coming up around the back of the neck, the bottom of the neck coming around down on the shoulders, up through the fingers, thumbs, baby finger, middle finger, that other finger, coming up through the wrists, through the palm, forearm and the back of the forearm, into around the elbow, up through the bicep, the tricep, and around the sides, connecting into that collarbone and up into the neck. Think about the thyroid and the throat. Think about the jaw, underneath the thumb, coming up in behind the back of the skull, around where your brain is and all those nerves flossing up through your skull, in around your face, your cheeks, your nose, your lips, your chin, in between your eyes, your nose, your forehead, your eyebrows, your eyelashes, and then into your mind. That was a good time with the clock. Take your time getting up. Well done today. The meditation makes it to be one of the nicer parts, so you can feel nice and good going into your workday and a little bit more chilled out. Great work today. As always, guys, I appreciate you tuning in, and I look forward to our next session next Tuesday. So take care, have a nice weekend, and give me a shout if you need anything. All the best. See you now.